In Haida, we call the cedar tree tsu. The cedar tree has many properties other than just providing, wood for our houses and canoes and, bark for our baskets and hats. If you look around in the woods around us, when we take a walk through it, you'll see several of the trees have strips been removed a couple years ago or several years ago. They're fairly young, but that's a culturally modified tree. The older ones that are 300 years or older, they're protected by BC law. And so they're not allowed to cut those down because they're archaeological evidence that people were here. It's a record. When you walk into the forest, it's very important that you don't really take any of the trees at the trailhead, because those are going to be the mother trees that will produce more cones, will produce more trees and get scattered about by the wind and all the other animals. So then when we do find that tree that looks attractive to us, we got to study the tree. We take our hatchet out and we talk to the tree and say, "Tree, look at me. Please do not be angry with me. I've come to take a little bit of your dress. I'm going to be making hats, baskets, and mats and showing others how to do the same. How, please do not be angry with me, long life maker." You take out your tobacco or your coffee or your tea or something that you can give back. And then you sprinkle it around the tree and you thank the tree again. And talk to the tree like a tree person. You can talk to all of the trees, but usually the one in front of you is the only one that's going to hear you, right? Because they're all busy chatting amongst themselves. From the cultural significance of cedar, not only do we use it in everyday life, but it also teaches a way for us to give back and not take more than you need. And whenever you go into the woods, you find ways of giving back. When you take that bark, you find ways of giving back to the people that are taking care of this place, this land.
I've always been curious about cedar weaving. Um, I never ever thought that I would ever be at that place to be able to do cedar weaving. So I challenged myself, and I found Todd to be very encouraging. He had a lot of patience. And that's something I noticed with him, is that he had patience with those that had never cedar weaved at all. Once I got the feel of the cedar weaving, the teachings from Todd, I felt it was very therapeutic, and I felt good in my heart.
Arts and Health, Healthy Aging Through the Arts program is an artist residency that brings in artists, seniors, and elders to collaborate on arts projects. The one that we do here is based off of Indigenous arts. We've been doing that for about 8 years. These past few years in the residency, we've worked with Todd DeFries, who is a cedar weaver.
This cutter and this bark, a lot of the time I would bring it right to Britannia and cut these pieces right on the spot, because we were all in person then. And then COVID hit. Boom. March, everything shuts down. March 16, no more Tuesday classes, no more Wednesday classes.
So we were in the middle of a cedar weaving set when the shutdown happened initially in March 2020, and we had to put all programming on complete hold, which was really hard to do, especially working with seniors and elders and Indigenous seniors and elders.
I was concerned for the elders, because a lot of them live in isolation, and I was very concerned what was going to happen to them. A lot of them enjoy coming to the center, and because it's pretty much the only time they have company.
The programming was much more than just a program. It was reconnecting to culture, it was connecting to arts, and it was connecting to each other. So it was a huge social aspect that was just completely lost for a time there. And we tried to manage with the same as everyone else in the world. Oh, it'll be a couple weeks. It'll be a break. We'll come back to it. It kept getting pushed, and it turned into how can we adapt to the new normal instead of just waiting for the world to open up again.
That was the next step, is figuring out how to do all the kits to make sure I had enough bark for every kit. If I get a chance, I'll color code these. All the colored elastics will be warps, and then all the white or yellow ones will be wefts. So that way the seniors can tell the difference between the two bundles. So everything turned into a kit. That way, when I deliver these kits to each house, then they have everything they need to finish the project.
Britannia opened up an essential services support system where we had a phone tree that was set up through our volunteer program here, where the programmers on site cold called 800 plus seniors and elders on our Britannia membership and asked where they would need support in these next few weeks of uncertainty with things that are closed. Do you have access to your medicines or groceries in these next few weeks? But what about the following weeks after? Can we call you again, even if you're okay right now? And one of the main things was the phone support tree, as well as an emergency food store that was built in our Britannia Teen Center. A huge part of our Indigenous elders and seniors really leaned on the emergency food store those first few weeks and following months afterwards. And we were able to do a call out to the volunteers and drivers who are already familiar with the area, already familiar with the no contact safety drop-offs. And that's how we were able to get those crafts and the unfinished cedar hats to the participants. And we were able to finish the program online through Zoom.
And it was a challenge also for Britannia to teach, to invite the elders and seniors to come on to Zoom, because they're not technically inclined.
There is a big digital divide that goes beyond just, do you know how to use a device? It is, like I said, do you have a device? Do you have access to internet? So it was a lot of troubleshooting one-on-one with our elders and seniors on how we can navigate that. Can we get you a device? Can we set you up with a Zoom account? Can we set you up with an email if you don't have it?
Daniel, Cook, and Kaya started training all the seniors on Zoom for those that didn't have it, and got them all their tablets and extra phones so that they can connect to our Britannia classes. So it took a lot of trial and error, along with the camera setup and this laptop. Now I can do really good presentations.
They quickly got it together, and then within a couple months or so, and so we were able to meet by Zoom. So there's been a big change, from going to the Britannia 55 plus to just staying home and going on Zoom.
That finished out that year, so the following year, both sets were completely on Zoom, and that was the template that we followed of deliveries, getting things out to people, and registering them through a Zoom class, which was a first for a lot of the seniors and elders. It was a first for Todd as the instructor, it was a first for me as a staff, and I think it went beautifully.
I myself am a survivor of residential school, so I've worked very hard to be where I'm at today. I feel that I'm very healthy and I'm very strong. I feel that I'm very open and very willing to learn, new things still at 74 years of age. And so when I'm with another Zoom meeting and there's an elder going through a hard time, I will connect and just mention that we do have an elders Zoom meetings with Britannia, and we do crafts and and stuff like that. And I tell them that I have a talking circle that I do every 2 weeks, and that's what they're looking for. They're looking to be connected with other Indigenous elders, because there aren't a lot of Indigenous elder circles out there.
The seniors and elders here really help feed into that sense of community and belonging and having roots, which is something that's really important for me to feel and see and witness and be a part of in every day.
The question is, why did I get into weaving? Because now I have a way to express myself. Part of the thing when you're a 60 scooper kid, adopted out and fostered, you're kind of isolated you're excluded from everything. And so growing up, I've always been about creating community, questioning the status quo, and, so come to Vancouver, where's my weaving community? Well, time to create it. We're here to weave and socialize. And socializing, it was important before the pandemic, but it's become really important, even more so since the pandemic started, because we don't get out that much. And this is one step closer to at least feeling normal. And then, okay, so the class is over. We're all gonna go, right? You guys all done? Good. Okay, I'm gonna end this camera here. So we'll just talk. And if you have any more questions, I can always refer you to the videos, right? We'll just get that out of the way. And now we're all on video, right? You there? Good. All right. Well, it's 4 o'clock, and it's about the end of the day now. So hope you all have a great weekend, and hope to see you again next week. H.A.T.T.A. Thanks again, Kaya. Cheers.